When I was 7, my mom's boyfriend got arrested in our apartment. The cops broke down the door, and it was scary because the cops came in with guns drawn. I was scared because I had their guns up and I was afraid they were gonna shoot. I got transported to a group home, which I didn't know what it was at the time. I was wondering where my mom was. I was just scared. I felt alone.
I was an elementary school principal here in Glendive for 5 years. And when I went through education, got my master's, I did not realize how many times I was going to have to call Child and Family Services. And I was in a situation where I was seeing the impact on kids' lives and families every day. And it was absolutely heartbreaking. That's when I knew I was called to be involved in foster care.
Before I went into foster care, my life wasn't the best. Rather than running around outside like a normal kid or playing with friends, I was just inside watching TV and eating junk food. The word family for me meant that there was just a mom and just some men that have came and gone. They never stayed. They weren't really nice to me.
Yeah, when Starr first came to our home, she was so sweet and so quiet, but had been living inside with no interaction, no stimulation. She was probably 40 pounds overweight, which is a lot for a kindergartner. The decision to become foster parents as empty nesters was completely driven by a belief that this is what God was asking us to do, and we needed to be obedient. Selfishly, I was excited to be an empty nester and not have to worry about making nutritious meals for children and just kind of, doing our thing. But what kind of Christians would we be if God brings these kids into your purview? Specifically, in our case, Starr, it was just a foster placement with moving to family and reunification. And it wasn't until a couple of years later that they called and said, we need an adoptive placement for her. And at that point, it was like, okay, this was not in the plan, but clearly this is what God is asking us to do. And we have to be obedient to that, because what happens to her if we say no? I have thought a lot about what Starr's life would look like if we hadn't stepped in. If nobody had stepped in to help her explore her gifts, let her experience being a regular kid, doing things that millions of us do with our kids every day. And how sad it would be for us to live our life and not get to see the blessing of this little girl just blooming. I'm excited to see all the people that her life and her story is going to touch, because we just did the simple thing of giving her a chance to be seen.
I was taught fishing by my brother and my dad. I've learned to fly fish, I've learned to cast and reel, and I've caught huge fish. I've caught king salmon, I've caught bowhead, catfish, and just fishing in general with the line in the water, just waiting and sitting in nature is relaxing. Fishing takes patience, but it's worth it. I love doing acrylic pours, and it's so relaxing and so satisfying to see all the colors going out and into an amazing design. I really enjoy volleyball because you're part of a team. We lose together, we win together, we practice together, and it's just all together.
I see Starr going out for student council, She doesn't go out like, oh, Mom, I'm really nervous about this. Should I do it? She just, oh, I'm going to do this. And then, like, we find out after she's already done it that she's on student council, like, the confidence that's been built in her.
I see this child that we first got to know as a kindergartner and now know as a sophomore in high school, and to see the growth and the impact on lives absolutely, makes it worth it.
It's really cool to see just her unfold and see what God's going to have for her. I predict she'll probably adopt a lot of kids herself.